that FTA deal that has been signed between the India and the UK. We're also in conversation with another special guest joining us on the show tonight, Ritesh Aggarwal, founder and global CEO, OEO Hotels and Homes. Ritesh, thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us here on ET Now. Let me begin by asking you this. After the signing of the UK-India FTA, what are your thoughts about this pact signaling a shift in India's global trade priorities, especially amid work on foreign trade deal with the US?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here in the first place. I had the great honor to be a part of the Indian CEO delegation, who were at Checkers, and the excitement between the meetings of both our Honorable Prime Minister as well as Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The excitement was palpable in the room. There were lots of us from different industries, and almost every CEO and founder had an opinion that the $60 billion of trade that we expect to make it $120 billion between India and UK, we shall most certainly beat that target in times to come, was the conviction we had. In terms of the perspective of why we feel so, I think that's largely because of a few reasons. As multiple publications have called this one of the better negotiated trade agreements, it provides great benefits for Indian companies in the form of mobility, in the form of easier investment opportunities, as well as attracting a lot more investments from the UK to India. So long story short, I remain quite optimistic about the opportunities that this FTA will bring.
Absolutely, Ritesh. There are opportunities galore for businesses to access the UK market. And of course, it was incredible that you got to witness that historic moment of that deal getting signed. But let me talk about your business. Given the fact that you've already ventured into the United States, what are OEO's investment plans and entry plans for the UK market? And what are the timelines that you're working with?
So from our perspective, we've had a great experience doing business in the UK so far. We've managed to scale up to 220 hotels, either under management contract or under franchising so far. We are focused a lot more in our premium segment. So our premium brand, which is Sunday Hotels, is the one which is growing the fastest, where we've been able to take a bunch of iconic locations like that of the Holland House at Cardiff or the Walton Hall at Warwickshire, and so much more, which we're able to convert into our Sunday Hotel brand and bring great quality experiences for guests, while using digital to not just be efficient, but to also bring a high quality experience for our guests, wherein right from check-in, in-house services, reservations, it's all managed digitally without having humans to do mechanical work, humans to support a lot of service oriented areas and efforts. So last year, we met our leadership aligned and announced with Baroness Poppy Gustafsson that we would invest £50 million. We have delivered that, and our expectation is to continue growing that in times to come. And I believe that we will keep opening, I think, 40 to 50 locations, new locations in the UK every year for sure. And we're seeing this premise of using technology to organize the already existing hotels is a great opportunity around the world. We have seen the great benefit of this in the US with over 2,000 hotels as a part of the OEO network there. And we're starting to see results in the UK as well.
Well, Ritesh, while you point out, of course, what's to come, the other aspect is what potential does the trade deal provide the hospitality industry to scale up, given what you just put into perspective as well?
Look, I think India and UK are natural partners. So I believe that with the simplification of short-term visas between both countries, I believe that there will be a lot more UK travelers coming out to India. I think our tourism ministries, as well as honorable tourism ministers, big focus has been growing domestic tourism, but also bringing in a lot of inbound tourists. So I hope that with the simplification of travel procedures on both sides, it will mean a lot of tourism from UK into India. But also, I believe that there would be Indian visitors who have made themselves known as the fastest growing outbound tourist potential to travel into the UK. The second is the Indian hospitality talent is unparalleled. I'm sure you or any of your viewers who travel internationally would see in the hotel that you're staying at, whether it is one of our OYO or Sunday hotels around the world or any other brand, you will find a large part of the staffing being Indian. We are considered one of the best hospitality talent groups in the world. And I believe that will further get accentuated by means of some of the talent transfers. And the third, I also believe it provides great opportunity for us to be able to ensure that more of our companies invest and expand in the UK, but similarly, more of the UK companies will expand into India. I already have met some of the hospitality companies in the UK who remain quite optimistic about investing and growing in India. And from India, of course, IHCL has a fantastic, exposure in the UK and growing further.
Right.
And there's so many more that I see as potential for hospitality. In fact, yesterday, beyond meeting the global leaders, I met some of our own hotel partners, and I saw some of them were travel agencies from New Delhi who are investing in hotels in different parts of the UK, and they want partners such as us to go manage them and bring better value creation. So I feel like there's going to be a broad set of opportunities that the FTA will open for travel and tourism industry.
Absolutely, Ritesh. So that market becomes that much more opened up. But then that's just one deal. There's another deal that India is negotiating with the European Union, and of course the big one with the United States. So what are your expectations with respect to those deals, and particularly with the one that we're going to have with the United States, given the fact that you have significant presence in the United States?
Quite well, actually. If you think about it, I think India has demonstrated that it is able to pursue its growth aspirations as an emerging economy. However, at the same time, work very closely with the developed economies and build very strong, collaborations and partnerships on both sides. Whether it is our efforts with UAE or with Australia or with EFTA or now with the UK, India has demonstrated that our ability to get an arrangement which is value accretive for our country, but also value accretive for the counterparties. And we work to compete rather than just try to, it's easy to sort of not get a deal done, right? Like there are many reasons to not get deals done, but I think our country has demonstrated that we have good intent to close and to make sure that that close leads to beating the targets we set, as we have seen with the UAE free trade agreement. So my perspective is that the US arrangement is progressing quite well. From the people that I know, there's been a lot of optimism on both sides on the opportunities that the US-India relationship brings. There's a big Indian population or Indian origin population in the US, as well as a part of the administration in the US. So they recognize the great people-to-people ties our countries have. And similarly in Europe, I think there's a stronger sense. As you know, the EU president visited India, and there's a very strong sense of India being the next big growth frontier. So I feel very optimistic about both of these opportunities, both as somebody from the industry, but also as a company which is highly invested both in US and Europe, with over 2,000 hotels in US and over 100,000 holiday homes in the European region. I feel very optimistic that both of these free trade agreements will bring great opportunity for not just the broader Indian industry, but specifically the travel and tourism and the startup industries.
Right, Ritesh, you do sound optimistic, but it's only a matter of time when we figure how that's going to pan out. But for the moment, we leave the conversation at that. Thank you very much once again for taking the time out and joining us this evening on ET Now. Having said that, it's time for a quick break here on India Tonight this Friday. But on the other side of the break, we tell you about how Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Maldives attending the island nation's 60th Independence Day celebrations as the guest of honor. In fact, India and Maldives are to soon finalize investment treaty, says Prime Minister Modi. India also extends $565 million line of credit with Prime Minister Modi's visit. Is Maldives-India outstands softening? More on that on the other side. Stay with us. We're going to be right back.